Hi there, my name is Kendrick and welcome to another ENTP male interview. Today I have an awesome panel of individuals of the same function stack, but different orders. So we got an INTP, ENTP, ISFJ, and ESFJ in this group. We also covered all the sexual modalities. So without further delay, I'm gonna have everyone introduce themselves. Let's starting with Julie, go for it.
I am Julie. I am an INTP, consume, play, blast, double feminine.
Awesome. And then Rose.
Oh, hi, I'm Rose. I am an FM, ISFJ, blast, sleep, play, consume.
Awesome, thank you. Next is Andreas.
I'm a double masculine, INTP, sleep, blast, play.
And consume last, right?
No, yeah, consume last, yeah.
Yeah. And then next is Isaac.
Hi, I'm an ESFJ, audio, blast, play, sleep, consume last.
Awesome, dude. And then last but not least, Emily.
Hi, I'm an ENTP. I'm consume, play, blast, sleep, and double masculine.
Awesome, thanks, guys. So Emily, you want to do your thing?
Oh yeah, of course we have to. Yeah, everyone put your hands in and be like, Alpha Quad, go, hurrah!
Alpha Quad, hurrah!
Yes, high fives for Alpha Quad.
Awesome, thanks. Okay, guys, so the first topic that we're gonna cover today is ST sleep. So ST sleep is the most fascinating thing for me about you guys' type. Okay, like it's I just find it like
You're giving yourself editing work, Kendrick.
Nah, it's okay. So I'm not gonna edit this. So everyone, ST sleep, like I said, is the most interesting thing about you guys' type for me. Because I find that ST sleep is both really dark and really light. Like it has like a dark side to it and a light side to it. And when I interviewed Isaac, like Isaac's interview really was like really opened up the dark side to it, which is awesome. Like I love like dark stuff, right? So it was perfect. So I want to get you guys' opinion on what you see as the dark side of your ST sleep and the light side of your SE sleep. All right. I'll bring up some topic here that I want to mention before you talk about your how you see your SE sleep. But some things that I've seen for the darkness of the SE sleep is counting favor points. So you'll use your FE to like dance around with the tribe and you'll like vibe with each other, but you're really like trying to like understand the other person. It's like calculative. It's kind of like, and then you're and afterwards, when you do something nice for someone, for some people with that FE, they're actually using it to count the ST favor points that they now owe you. Whoever you're like, let's say you took someone out for lunch, now they owe you like 1 favor points or something. So that's kind of like one example of like the dark side of that like ST sleep. But on the light side, from what I've seen, a lot of people with ST sleep, they're very self-sufficient. They can get things done for themselves, assuming they have it higher up, of course, or they practice it. So I want to get all your input on what you think is the good part of your ST sleep and the bad part of your ST sleep. Does anyone have any volunteers who wants to jump in and answer this question first?
Well, sorry, Kendrick, but Ti says that sounds like a BSTE theory about ST sleep.
Sure, yeah, fine. So what is your
I mean, like, now you're attacking me, asking me about my last animal. No, I'm kidding. To me, ST sleep is like, it's like building things in reality, right? It's like doing the thing for real using logic. And that's, time consuming and a pain in the butt from my point of view, but that's what it is. And that can be good or bad depending on what you're trying to do, because TI makes it really slow and SI makes it really slow, but once you get it built, usually it's like pretty solid.
Is that like an observer point of view though? Like,
well, yeah, clearly, because I'm an observer.
Yeah, of course.
I agree with that though.
Yeah, go for it.
I feel like that sounds good.
Well, do you have your own? Because you're a decider, so it's gonna be a little bit different, right?
Okay, no, this is true. I mean, since I jumped in, but as a decider, I agree with what she said. As a double feminine person with sleep last, I mean, you're asking me about the thing that is the hardest for me. So I'll just start with what you said with the favor stacking, because that is very interesting. I feel like favor stacking is something that I definitely at some point had to learn in life. But for me, it was a positive thing because I didn't realize it was a thing. And then people would give to me and I wouldn't think, oh, I should give back. Like I was very TI selfish when I was younger, but perhaps too, being sleep last, that made that even more so. And so I definitely have had to grow into like being like, oh, that person just did something for me. I should be mindful about doing something for them. And I'm sure like the people who have FE are probably like, this girl is crazy. How is she not aware of that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was pretty ignorant of that. So that was like a positive side. I would say dark side for me, I think this is my sleep. I think a lot of the self-loathing that I feel like Dave and Shan have started to talk about more with being a lead like TI thing, that it kind of connects into my SI reality, but maybe it's kind of back and forth between my consume and my sleep. But I feel like that can be a dark place and I can just stop everything, right? Like sleep, stop, and just be like, I'm awful. Everything is awful, and get into a really bad space. So that would be my contribution to the dark side of that.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Like I didn't think that from an INTP standpoint that the favor stacking was actually a good thing because you guys are not doing enough of that, right? So for you guys, that's like an awesome thing. I want to go with Isaac because Isaac is double masculine ST sleep, like masculine SI, masculine TI. So it's like the most aggressive of all the ST sleep. So what's like the dark side and the light side to your perspective of that ST sleep?
Yeah, so I've been thinking of a few different things. Like, first of all, like from very early, I was very sensitive to the idea of people doing anything nice for me. Like I always notice. It's always like, what are you doing? Why are you helping me? It's very clear, and it's like, that's strange. Like me having FE at the top, I guess that would be something that I pay more attention to, but it never flies past, right? And then I'm always thinking, okay, what is the value of that thing to them, and how do they feel about the fact that they've given this to me? How do I repay them? Like, when I was in high school, the piano teacher for the choir decided to start giving me free lessons. And after a little while, that started to feel extremely uncomfortable because she was just this extremely happy, very giving person, and I wasn't giving her anything in return. And it was almost like I am a bad person because I am allowing her to be nice to me in this way. And so it's a very like self-critical kind of, why is this allowed to happen kind of thing. And so I always try, and that's the other thing, like you said, with the ST sleep being very self-sufficient. I think the ST sleep is also, I want to do everything myself so that other people don't have to do things for me, or so that I don't end up in that place where I feel like I'm taking advantage of people's kindness, because that's like the last thing that I want to do, sort of thing.
Dude, that is so good. I love your story. I want to tie it into Andreas now because this is the perfect tie-in because Andreas is sleep first, and he's also an IP. So, Andreas, based on what Isaac said, do you feel like when people are doing nice things for you, do you feel like you owe them anything, or do you feel like, nope, I deserve it, like ST sleep, like, because you're an IP. So what's your take on that? And also talk about obviously the light and dark side of your ST sleep.
Yeah, like I haven't really thought about, the idea of like not earning the kindness in that sense, because I feel like I live in a community where we grew up really poor, so we have always been like, giving to each other what we have to survive. So that is kind of strange to me, but I get the idea. It's just I don't feel like I want help. I need help sometimes, but I don't feel like I want help. I want to do it myself. I want to figure it out myself, and I can get really frustrated if I see other people trying to get in and help me. Now, I appreciate if you just come in and trying to motivate me and trying to give me some love and, just trying to if he push me. that's completely fine, and I actually accept that without even feeling guilty. But that's also because in my core I feel like and I might be objective skill, but I feel like I'm also a person that's, I'm really aware. You gave me something, I will give it back to you. I will. It may not be tomorrow, it may not be this year, but I will give it back. I promise. Not only will I give it back, but I promise it will be as in the same packed in the same value as you. And I think just growing up in a community where we were poor like that, I just think that had that influence. So that's a strange concept, but I do get it. It's funny you say that TISI have some dark sense to it. I feel like the TISI for me, the band too. Like for me, it's I like the darkness. I like going deep into these. It's not necessarily emotional. It's like the reality of this world. It's cold. It's dark. There's fucking black holes out there, and they can suck everything in. And that's the reality. And you gotta accept that. I feel like inside, and I love to dig deep in that. That weird, that's darkness. But yeah, it do get dark, but not emotionally, just the coldness of the world. The world can also be good and all that and beautiful, very, very beautiful. I have the saying that life is this very, very beautiful thing, but life is also the biggest fucking bitch in the world. So it's beautiful, but it's a bitch, so you should be careful. Now you can still fuck the world as much as you want, but it's still a bitch, and you got to remember that. So I feel like, yeah, it's dark, but I really enjoy it, and it's not really that scary. People sometimes be like, whoa, that is really too.
Oh, he froze. Oh shit. All right, so
the darkness sucked him in. Bye.
yeah, he got sucked into the darkness. All right. Well, Andreas said a lot of nice, interesting things. So I'm going to go ask you guys that question later on. So while Andreas is frozen and trying to get back, I want to bring this to Rose. Oh, so Andreas, yeah, you froze there for a second.
Again, sorry.
But you're back.
I know. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. But you said a lot of interesting things, Andreas, which I'm going to go ask everyone based on what you said later on. But I want to finish this up first with Rose. So Rose has double feminine ST sleep. So this is like, the complete opposite of Isaac, and the most extreme one of the most extreme version as well. So Rose, how do you personally see your darkness and the light side of your ST sleep?
Okay, so when you were talking about keeping score and stuff, the first thing that came to mind is like I can barely keep track of people's names, much less any kind of complicated scoring system. So no, I definitely can't do that. But I was trying to come up with how it would be dark. And I guess I have never thought about it that way, because I just see like people as having darkness, not necessarily an animal. But I was thinking about how as people with TI that we might, allow sometimes a way of thinking to exist that isn't maybe beneficial, because we're trying to respect that everyone is allowed to have their own TI. So like, and maybe because I'm demon TI, I allow this more than most people, but yeah, sometimes people will share things with me and I'm just like, whoa, but at the same time, I don't feel like it's my place to tell them what to think. So I could see how that could be dark. But yeah, my ST sleep works the same as everyone else's. It's just double feminine. So I'm just really movable. So if you like follow me around, I will be doing things in reality all the time, but it'll just be different every time you see me do them. And I'm not like, I don't have an allegiance to like one way of doing things ever. I just have an allegiance to doing sleep processing because it's my savior. So.
Gotcha. Thanks for that, Rose. Now I want to go back to what Andreas said. I'm going to go ask everyone this question. And I did notice this with people with ST sleep. Talk about asking for help to do work, specifically work. Okay, not like we're gonna go hang out, have a party, you know, but work. Okay, so Andreas said that he doesn't like asking for help unless it's like absolutely mandatory, like needed. Isaac had said the same thing to me before during our interview, and he also said it earlier. He doesn't like getting help. I noticed that the double deciders didn't really say much about that, about like the help stuff. So I'm kind of curious, is this more like a decider observer thing, or is it like all of you guys, like you don't like asking for help? And what's your opinion of asking for help from someone? So whoever wants to take this first, Emily, maybe go
Yeah,
first.
sure, I'll go first. Yeah, I do think it's a little bit different in being DI. Like, I'll ask for what I want, and double decider and masculine DE. I'll be like, you come over here and help me. I'm delegating this to you. But in the sense of like, let's TE do it together, absolutely, I do not want help. Like, as your sensory example, so at work, I was in charge of producing a live stream. So I had to set up like all the camera gear and the streaming equipment and the switchboard and all the just like the whole production for it. And I was in charge of setting up and the equipment and producing the whole thing. And I just would rather, if I'm doing something like that, I would rather take pieces of it and delegate them to other people and just be like, you go do that, and then do the thing by myself. And all the TE people in the office were like, do you need help breaking down equipment? Do you need help doing this thing? And I was like, no, just go away. Let me do it how I want to do it. And then I will ask you to help me when I need help with something else that you can go do in a different room by yourself. So that's like, I don't have a problem asking for help as long as we're not like doing teamwork. That annoys me.
I see. No, that's really good. So it's super different from what I perceive from the IPs and the EJs, where yeah, you're okay with help, but it's more like delegation of specific tasks.
Yeah.
What about you, Rose? You're also a double decider. Like, do you relate with what Emily said about like help? Like, you rather do it yourself, but you're okay with delegating, but it has to be like the entire category, I guess, from Emily's perspective.
Yeah, so this is a hard question for me to answer, I guess, because I'm demon T, so maybe this flavors it a little bit, but because not everything speaks to my identity, I'm not as attached to how things are always done, but I do feel like if I'm in a project, I need at least a small piece that is mine that I can do my way. Like, yes, I will bow to the tribe itself and do it their way. If I'm not leading, if I'm not the blaster manager in charge, I'll do it their way. But I still need some little piece that's mine. So like, because I'm doing a lot of design work, oftentimes I can't do it my way. I have to do it whoever's in charge's way, which is fine. But I need at least like a couple of sheets or a couple of decisions and way of documenting that are mine. My decisions, my designs, my products that I choose, stuff like that.
That's super cool because the double feminine ST sleeps kind of feels a little bit TE, you know, because like you're a little bit more flexible with like what you can do and what you can't do. But and you still have, like you said, like as long as you have ownership of a little bit of it, and that's more than enough.
Yes.
Yeah. I want to go to Isaac now because Isaac's the opposite, double masculine ST sleep. So I'm gonna guess it's like hell no, like it's just my work. What's your take on getting help, Isaac?
Yeah. So the thing is, if other people are around, so the problem is that I have play just above sleep. So I think the issue for me is that other people will try to help me, and then I don't know how to tell them to get away from me, and they'll start to do it their way, and they'll start to collaborate, and it's like, this is my stuff, everybody, like I wish I could scream at you and tell you all to get away from me, but of course double feminine play, so I try to like hide my projects from people so that they can't worm their way into my stuff. And so for instance, when I move to a new apartment, I don't tell anybody when I'm moving. I don't tell anybody where I'm moving. I just silently move all my stuff by myself until I get down to like the big stuff, the bed that I can't move by myself, the dresser I can't move by myself. Then I ask for help, because it's like, okay, now you're not going to be getting in my face, pushing me to the side because I don't know how to tell you to get out of my way. So it's a little bit of a problem because of course, the sleep is the identity, but I can't do it if other people are around. So it's a very weird kind of balancing act.
So for the bed, and that's more like a observer question now. You're asking, so you're okay with getting people's help if it's like one or two pieces of like the bigger picture? Is that
yeah, like if it's something that I physically can't do by myself. But if other people are involved for the entire project, it's going to get so complicated, and I'm going to have to keep track of who is wanting to claim ownership of what. And ultimately, it's just going to be really annoying. So I'll do everything myself as far as it's possible, and then I'll ask for help with the things that I physically cannot do myself.
Gotcha. I love your ST sleep. It's so good. Let's go with Julie. Julie, can you hear us? So Julie, ST sleep, asking for help. Your sleep lasts. So, you know, like how, like I know Emily talked about, you know, she would delegate certain tasks to people, and then she would rather do the whole thing herself for that specific thing that she's supposed to do. But you're an IP, so like how do you see asking for help from someone?
I mean, I love pinging off of people and asking people for help. That's how I kind of do everything. But since, right, whenever I was really young, right, whenever it's like I was just like a big consume head, I would never ask anybody for anything. But maybe it's because of my play blast kind of serving that consume. It's like now if I get stuck, I'm like, let's go talk to someone, let's go see what they think, let's go get some other minds or hands on this.
Yeah, and your husband is lead TE and masculine TE, so he's probably gonna want to help you all the time too. So how do you like so what's and he's also tribe above self.
Of all funny things, I'm the IJ in our life, which is like haha hilarious, but see, like I'm the IJ in our life. Yeah. I'm sorry I'm in the car. It's a long story with our baby. But okay, I'm the IJ in our life, and he's like my EJ. Definitely like came in to help me quite a bit and everything. But yeah. So I don't know how it relates to sleep last. I guess sleep, if I had sleep higher, I would probably be much more self-sufficient, right? Like consume sleeps seem much more, or lead sleep seem much more self-sufficient.
I saw that Rose was horrified by that chaos there just a second ago.
No, I know. I'm so sorry, and I'm sure you were bothered by me trying to figure out I'm so sorry about all of you that bothers.
I found it so funny because it's right as you said, I'm the IJ in my family, and then it just drops, and I was like, this is too funny.
Yeah, it's no, we have like, so what's cool is me and my husband, he's an ESFP, so we have different functions, and I definitely think that brings us some benefits, you know, but we have so much chaos together because he's play consume blast. He's also sleep blast. It's the chaos in our household is ridiculous. That's why I'm the IJ.
Yeah, Rose is not visiting you guys anytime soon. I'm just kidding.
You can hire me. You can hire me and I'll come over and help you.
I'm down. Let's do it.
Yeah. So Julie, from what I can hear from you, it's a combination of like sleep loss and feminine DE that is like it's okay to ask for help. You know, I think that seems like what it is. I don't know. Yeah, because Emily's like, you know, masculine DE, right? It's like all of you fuck off. You know, I'm gonna do my own shit here. You know, but like but for you it's like yeah, I guess it's okay. What about you, Andreas? Like you're sleep first, so you're gonna be like blocking the tribe. Like you have a permanent shield. You know.
Like in context with help and
yeah, asking for help, like getting help from people.
I do ask for help, as I said earlier, but if it's something that I'm interested in, like it's something in my world, like rap music or film or whatever, I don't want you to help me. I don't want to hear your input. I don't want to, like, I try to because I'm aware of this OP stuff, and I really, really want it because I know I will fuck myself over with it if I don't. but at the end of the day, I know I'm smarter than most of the people. Like TISI, I feel like you are just not necessarily you're the smartest person in the world. You're just naturally, I feel like, born smarter than anybody else. You just think deeper than anybody else. It's weird, and you just see all these dumb people walking around. So and you know people are dumb, and you can see it when they are trying to do the T stuff, and you're just looking at them like, what the fuck are you doing, man? You need to do it like, can you see you're fucking stupid, So I just feel like I annoy myself with letting dumb people in, and I know most people are dumb. Now, if I know you're clever and I know you're like an expert in this area or whatever, I will definitely listen to you. I will respect you. But I don't respect most people because I know most people are dumb. Now, it's real, I have to respect other people's feelings and all that, but I still, people are just dumb.
That is
You're
so
wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah, that's it. And I can be dumb too. It's not that that's area where I'm not super smart, but still, I still think about it. The way my brain works is I'm not good at math necessarily, but I'm very mathematical in my way of approaching things. And I feel like with that, it's just harder to let people in helping you when you know you can do it better yourself. And you're actually seeing in the real world, you are doing better than the other. Now, people don't like it because you didn't bring in their fee. You didn't remember to say, hey, I love you. I love your thing. You're a great person. Hey, come in and, make these funny sounds and make this coloring or whatever. It's just, you gotta respect that iffy, I guess. But yeah, no, it's just get off me. Like my whole life, my mother, my father is both ISTJs. My father is SIFI, my mother is SITE, and they're both just in my whole, as I've been growing up, all they wanted to teach me is TE, TE, TE. And I just looked at them. I don't need your TE right now. I'm doing my TI right now. I'm building this song. I'm building this thing. Can't you, like, you fucking dumb. You don't know anything about this. I know you're a smart person in general. My parents is actually pretty smart, but you don't know anything about it. Trust me, I know what I'm doing. I'm not an idiot. I know what I'm doing. I have actually did the research and, playing around with it. Yeah. So I don't really like help. A lot of people sometimes complain about that I don't ask that much of help because people really want to help me. And I'm seeing that that's their way of showing love, that, hey, I love you, man. Now let me help you. They don't say it, always like with words and communicate the chemicals. They're doing it with, hey, let me help you fix this thing because I can see you are struggling a little bit, or it seems like from the outside you're struggling a little bit. But yeah, no, I don't like getting help. I want to do it myself. I'm very stubborn. I'm very rebel-like, I feel like. So, yeah.
So you rather people say the chemicals to you, like, I love you, you're great, instead of like trying to help you? Like the chemicals is what, do you guys all relate to that? Like you rather have someone say something nice to you as opposed to like helping you? And the nice words are good?
I want you to tell the truth. Do you really think this is good or bad? Or do you really like this or not? I don't want you to like necessarily, if you lie, I like this, but I want to motivate me. I want you to motivate me and say, I believe in you. I know you can do this, if that makes any sense.
I see. Okay, so you want some NF feedback then, like from people.
Yeah.
I see. All right. So does anyone else want to add into the ST sleep thing before we move on to the next animal? Like, did we miss any bases here that you guys like want to talk about?
Well,
yeah, go for it.
Kendrick, I had a question for you because I saw I think that's the only one I've seen, or maybe I saw the SF Blast video, but you said that you noticed ST sleeps handling money a certain way.
Yes.
Do you still see that theory holding up?
Yeah, I noticed people with ST sleep are obsessed with like money in general. And I do want to talk to you guys about this. Actually, I completely forgot. This is one of my talks that I forgot to write down. Bad SI. So I do want to ask Rose this question, but let's go with Emily. So I did notice that people that have ST sleep, it depends if you're a double decider or single or double observer. How you use the money is important, but it could be used for different things. Like for EJs, a lot of ESFJs that I've seen, they do want to get rich and have like tons of money, and they'll use the FE game to like collect as many like dollars as possible, right? For EPs, the EPs one is the weirdest one I've seen, where like they're really cheap, but if they're like the ENTPs, they're really cheap, but like if it's like an area where they really want to spend money on, they will spend money on it. Like for example, like I know a lot of ENTPs, they love traveling, but they're like super cheap about it. So they'll pay a lot of money for like the travel experience, but they won't tip, for example, or so how do you guys, what's your relationship with money? ST sleep people here. Let's go with Emily first.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that EP description probably is pretty accurate for me. Like, I'm weird about the way that I save and spend money and how I invest money and like all that kind of stuff. That's for an EP. That's like the one thing that I have like a really intense control over, is all of what I do with my money. And yeah, and like for example, to your point about being weird and cheap on stuff, that is true, because I always have like buy like really cheap phones just because I break them and lose them all the time in all of my chaotic existence. And so people are always making fun of me for that, of like, why are you trying to save so much money on your stupid phone, like when you don't have to. And that sort of stuff. And then if I feel like it, I'll spend a ton of money on something that somebody thinks is really dumb, just because like that's why I'm controlling my money, so that I can do whatever I want with it when I decide that that's what I want to do.
Yeah, you guys, the ENTPs are definitely really weird with money. Like you guys are.
Oh yeah, we have lots of those combos in our ENTP chat. So let me tell you that every last one of them is weird with money.
Yeah.
But, when it's time to let the dollar bills fly, you guys want to hang with us.
Yeah, so before we move on to the next person, so when do you let the dollar bills fly? Like when, like, because I've seen like a lot of ENTPs love traveling, so I've seen a lot of taking strip club nice strokes.
Well, not in that particular area, but yeah, traveling. Like if I want some tech stuff, I'll buy it. Like just whatever my hobbies are, stuff that's in my TI that I feel like I want to spend money on, then I'll just like spend money. Who cares?
Okay. So I want to go with Isaac with this one. So Isaac's very interesting with the money stuff, because you said a lot of interesting things in the past. I've also read some of your posts in the Facebook group. Like one thing you said before is like, if someone were to steal your like part of your car, like it wouldn't bother you, like you would just pay for it. But then if you ever see that guy again, you'll punch him in the face or something. And then you're more than happy to like buy people lunch and dinners and stuff, So what is like your take with like that? But like, what is your take with that money situation?
Yeah, so to explain what you were saying about the stealing some part of your car, my catalytic converter was actually stolen probably a month ago off of my car. So in the middle of the night, somebody just jacked up my car and cut out the catalytic converter, sold it, I don't know, on the black market, whatever. It cost me $250 to replace after insurance. And I was like, cool, crisis averted. And I didn't care. I didn't care that I had spent $250 on this stupid thing. Because I was like, cool, insurance covered almost all of it. I only have to pay $250. Like that's nothing, even though of course that's a huge amount of money for someone like me. But it was like, yeah, you'll never catch me complaining about spending that amount of money if I could have had to spend way more. And like you said about buying people dinner and stuff, like I don't like necessarily always going Dutch. I want to go Dutch because I'm poor, but if I can buy someone dinner because they've lost their wallet, then it's like, cool, you can't complain. I have to buy you dinner. And then it's it's almost like I want to do this, right? Like, I get to do something nice for you, haha. And I don't care how much it costs, right? But then I know other people are just like always trying to keep their wallet totally closed. And sort of to offset that, I try not to spend a lot of money on anything unless I think Emily was saying this, unless it's for one of my hobbies. So like I'll just randomly spend a whole bunch of money on my aquarium. But I don't go out to eat. I don't like to spend a lot of money on stuff that I don't need. I don't know, does that pretty much cover it?
Yeah, no, it's perfect. It's kind of funny you said that because when you started talking about like buying people dinners and well, first I was looking at Emily and Rose's reaction when you talked about getting your car part stolen, because you know they have like things problem, right? So I would see like them like freaking out. It's like, oh my god, this is horrific, right? Like even for me, I'm like,
Not
oh
if
my
it's
god.
not my problem.
No, if it's your stuff, like if it's someone stole part of your car, you know, like how would you would probably freak out, right?
No, I would be like, whatever, chaos.
Serious?
It depends on what mood I was in that day.
Oh, okay. Also, the one thing that I found interesting with what Isaac said about like buying dinners and stuff is like, I don't think I've ever had an ENTP buy me dinner. You know, like the ENTPs are the weirdest.
Hey! Don't blame that on ENTPs. You have bad friends.
Bad
It's not us as a category.
It's bad ENTP friends.
Yes. I've paid for lots of my friends' dinners.
I wonder though, is that like the feminine TI? I'm curious.
That's just you have mean friends.
Okay. Masculine FE taken. Okay, let's go with the INTPs. Julie, what about you? How's your like opinion with money and how do you interact with it?
I definitely don't spend it, but I don't find I want to spend it often. My friend recently called me a vampire because I'm like, I love going outside on hikes and stuff, but it's like me and my computer are really good friends. You know, like I can do a lot on my computer with my imagination land or whatever, or like pieces of paper or pieces of wood. Like my kid right now, like my baby, I want him to have a busy board, and so I'm just like slowly collecting things. I'm like, oh, that piece of wood, can I have that? You know, so I kind of do that kind of stuff. I definitely grew up with not much money, so that might come from that as well. But I think probably because I'm sleep last, I don't think much about money. Like I had a friend tell me, like, you should get a credit card and start building credit. Like I'll kind of ping that off of the tribe too and be like, oh yeah, I should start building credit. I'm like, oh look, that is good. I'm glad that I started to do that. So I guess that's fine, but I don't feel like it's a big part of what I think about.
Okay, so it's interesting you said all that stuff, especially when you said you were like in your computer all the time in imaginations land, because I did notice with INTPs, it's like, especially with Demon ST, like you almost don't even see the money. Like I have a friend that he works for Amazon. He makes like over well 6 figures. And I'm like, dude, you're making 6 figures. He's like, oh, I didn't even know I was making 6 figures. I'm like, what? Like, I mean, what do you mean you didn't even know you're making 6 figures? And you know, like he met David Chan too. So I think they did type him as an INTP. But yeah, I was like, what do you mean? Like, he's like, I never think about that stuff, you know? I'm like, oh, okay. So I guess that's like imaginations land or high intuition. I don't know.
Yes, very true to all of that. I had a conversation with a friend literally the other day where we were talking about money, and then she's like, okay, yeah, so what do you think about all of that? You know, because we were talking about houses and affordability and whatever, and I was like, oh, I don't know. Like, she's like, because we were talking about like different prices on houses and where maybe we'd be, and I think she has TE, right? So I think it was more she was talking about like comparing herself to other people's houses and where she wants to end up. And then she's like, so yeah, where do you want to end up? And I was like, oh, crap. Yeah, somewhere that I like. What's bad?
You want to live in the computer world in Cybertron. Anyways, last is Andreas. Andreas, I didn't talk to Rose yet, but let's go with Andreas first, and then we'll go to Rose. Yeah, so what is your relationship with money? You're ST first, so you know this is gonna be super interesting.
It's weird because in the end of the day, I don't really like care that much about like money and getting rich. It's just, again, growing up poor, I feel like I was very frustrated because we didn't have a lot of money, and because we didn't have a lot of money, I couldn't be part of a lot of things in my childhood. You know, school stuff and having all these new cool gadgets. I couldn't get it because I didn't have, you know, the money, the resources to get it. So I've always, you know, promised myself to have enough money to buy whatever I want without even thinking about it, because I hate, you know, it's kind of like, you know, you're driving this car and it's just this big fucking wall just standing up and you're just pressing in it because you don't have, it's just annoying, you know, not to have enough money and just, yeah, live the life you want to live. But I don't really care that much about money. I just want to have enough to buy stuff. I don't really have a weird relationship. Like, I get the observers have a weird relationship with it, but thinking about it while listening to you other guys, I just realized, you know, I don't really think that much about it, even though I'm struggling with it and I'm still young and I'm still working up the ladder. But I still, you know, it's not my big focus. In the end of the day, I just want to be popular. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah.
fuck
Yeah,
the money. I just want to get loved, you know.
Right. Oh my God, you guys, this is so
Get that
interesting.
DI respect.
Thanks.
Yeah, there you go. Oh my God, this is so interesting because you guys all use it completely different. Like it seems like the double observers don't really think much about the money stuff. Like with ISIC, it's more like a tool, but at the end of the day, it's not like the biggest thing, you know. Like if once, like it sounds like once you guys have enough, it's good enough. So it's more like the ENTPs, I guess, and the ISFJs would be more weird when it comes to money. Rose, how do you? You're double feminine ST, so I'm not really sure what your relationship with money is. But how do you see your relationship with money is? I know you flip stuff online, so you know.
Did I tell you that?
You said it publicly in the Facebook group.
Oh, okay. Yes. Okay. So I was like, what is this covert consume you're doing? Let's see, my relationship with money is, yeah, it's double feminine. So it took me a while to like really track it, but I just have some TI rules for myself. Like, don't spend more than you make, put away like 15 to 20% for retirement. And then like kind of beyond that, I'm not thinking about it too much. But the way I do think about it, or the way I think about, it's not about the money itself. It's like, I want to be the type of person who can make money when I need to make money, because I see money as a resource, not as like something that I want to like stockpile. Does that make sense? I don't know. But yeah.
Yeah, it sounds more like the self-sufficiency of the ST sleep that you want, not the actual physical.
Right. And I would just add to that, like, it's not the money for me either, money itself. It's the options open that it allows me to have when I'm not, like, you know, in a bind. Right.
That I agree with that.
So freedom, I guess, for you, it's the freedom that the money gives you. All right, cool. All right, so does anyone have any more burning questions for ST sleep? Otherwise, we're gonna go jump into the opposite. Looks like there's none. So this wraps it up for ST sleep, everyone.